When I'm involved in brawls, I start glowing. Your broads are like where you're going. What you're holding ain't the cards showing. What's the brouhaha? What's the brouhaha? I gotta go, stop your moaning. Gotta push up more weight than Hogan. And stop till I'm on late with Conan. What's the brouhaha?
What's up, guys? Welcome back to another adventure of What's the Brouhaha? I'm here with a banger from Instagram. I'm here with this post on Instagram where she is getting into some things that were very interesting. So let's just take a look and see what's going on.
I hate men. I've heard this from women my entire life. It's so common these days to hear women say, all men are blank, men ain't, and grouping them together and casting a judgment on the entire sex. And I've just never felt that way. In circles of women, they would often say, well, you probably don't feel this way towards men because you haven't experienced blank, insert the plethora of traumatic instances that can happen with men. And when I would share my stories that I often had, they would be like, well, you have all the reason to hate men, why don't you? Women's resentment towards men is not entirely misplaced, obviously. Look around at the world, abroad, and in our own local communities. When I think of the main reasons why women feel such hatred towards men, I just don't see a world where we correct those issues without men. Often the force required to correct the ferocity of evil-filled men is the ferocity of good-filled men. Obviously, women too. Men in their grounded, higher state are a force to be reckoned with. Okay, quick story time. I was a teenager walking into a store with my little brother, and to my right, a car pulls up full of men, waving a gun, trying to coerce me to get into the car and kidnap me. I moved my brother to the side, and as I did, this old cowboy was walking out of the store towards us, saw everything that was happening, and he puts his hand on his back pocket to reach for his gun, and the car saw what he was doing and immediately drove off. And I'll never forget this moment because it was this crazy juxtaposing scene of men in their absolute unhinged nature, and then men in their beautiful protector, higher nature for someone he didn't even know. And it really did show how men can be a part of the solution to the problems they also create. I don't know if you know, but men account for 80% of the suicides in the United States. And I encourage you to listen to this incredible podcast. I have it up right here. It's called Young Men Are Quietly Giving Up. And this really alarms me as we're moving into a time where we really, really need strong men. Many women have absolutely no freedoms in different corners of the earth. And I'm just going to speak to the modern Western world for a second. In women's attempts and pursuit for male accountability, I feel like it has hardened so many women's outlook of men altogether. And you got a modern dynamic now where women are walking around incredibly jaded, and they project this energy onto men in their entirety, and then feel a lot of resistance to having accountability themselves. Like a collective grievance that turned into an absolving of looking into the mirror. We can so often become the archetype of the thing we protest. I believe reestablishing a sense of sacredness between the sexes is going to be a big part of the solution here. And both sexes have a lot of work to do here. Objectification is such a big part of this to men, and I hope we can continue to hold men accountable while also as women taking ownership of the parts that we should, like when we electively objectify ourselves and further feed into that energy that in the end doesn't serve us, and be a bit honest with that. I'm curious if you've had a journey with your relationship to men and how you see us all walking forward unified together.
Okay, so you get the gist of what she was saying. I think we got to the end, but the bottom line is, and listen, I appreciate this post because the key that I honed in on was the part of it takes a good man to stop a bad man. A feminist is never going to stop a bad man or any man. So the range of intent within a person, within a female, good or bad, if she's good acting or bad acting, etc., is largely irrelevant to the issue of bad men acting badly. As a society, we would hope that women act good and that men act good. But when something goes wrong, when bad people act badly, man or women, or man and women, only a good man can stop that. Can stop a bad man, can stop a bad woman. He can stop all of it. Whereas a good woman can only potentially stop a bad woman. And it's just that simple. It's not as that simple. Anyone introducing any noise, any ideology, any conflation, any just details or any nonsense is just wrong. That's the broad equation. It's unshakable. It's undeniable. That's the broad equation. That's why ideology in general, but it's especially this current ideology of feminism and modernism, or whatever you want to call it, is wrong. It's flat out misguided. It's misguided. I know people get triggered and emotional when people say things a certain way. I don't know. Okay, I don't know how to say it to make you not get triggered. I think you're just a triggered person, and you're a bad person. People who can't control themselves and just go around acting crazy, looking for any excuse to be who they really are, which is a psychopath. So if you just need an excuse to rage out, that's just what it is. But the bottom line is, it takes a good man to stop a bad man and or a bad woman, and a good woman can only stop a bad woman. That's it. That's all that's happening out here. That's the bottom line. I'll leave you with that.